Faced with tough competition in the medium-range Mondeo market, Toyota have made huge efforts to offer more than just practical virtues with their third-generation Avensis. We've never had a large Toyota in this class we could really fall in love with. Could this be the first? Once upon a time, medium-range Mondeo class family cars could get away with being pretty dull. No longer. Today, with the sector shrinking and hemorrhaging sales to compact 4x4s and small MPVs, sensible no longer cuts it. Hence the need for an exciting crop of stylish new arrivals, with Ford's excellent fourth-generation Mondeo having been joined by Vauxhall's stylish Insignia, Renault's third-generation Laguna, and second generations of cars like the Mazda 6 and Citroën C5. Now that left the Mark II Toyota Avensis, a car for whom the word sensible might have been invented, as a salutary reminder of what buyers in this sector used to settle for. Hence the need for this third-generation version. Its predecessor was reliable, beautifully built, and very cheap to run. Or to put it another way, very Japanese. Now, unlike any of its predecessors, this Mark III Avensis has also to be more European in feel. In other words, more strikingly styled and more dynamic to drive. Now, the previous Avensis, like this car, designed in the south of France and built at Toyota's UK Burnaston plant, promised us that, but failed to deliver. With this car, there can be no excuses. To get close to the kind of exemplary driving dynamics offered by rivals in this sector, Toyota has had to start with a clean sheet of paper with this car, hence the all-new platform. The front and the rear track, they're both wider, and the front axle has been moved further forward to give the car a better balance. Now, as a result, this Avensis is a world removed from its predecessor, eager to change direction with sharp steering, plenty of grip and little body roll. Not enough to be a class leader, but certainly enough to satisfy demanding drivers. Now, the ride quality on twisting secondary roads can't quite match these achievements, but on the kind of major routes where cars like this will spend most of their time, it all comes together beautifully. It also helps that there's such a willing band of engines on offer. Take the unit I'm trying here, the volume D4D 150 2.2 litre diesel. Now, this has such a huge surge of torque between 2,000 and 2,800 RPM that overtaking is just, well, it's just really easy. And you can leave the 6-speed manual gearbox pretty much alone as you waft around on this huge surge of torque. If it feels faster than opposing cars, that's because it is. This car is a huge 9 seconds quicker from 0 to 100 miles an hour than the equivalent Ford Mondeo 2-litre TDCi. And it's a similar story with the petrol Avensis. The 1.8 litre V-Matic model is a full 1.5 seconds quicker to 60 than its Vauxhall Insignia 1.8 litre petrol counterpart. Today's Avensis Saloon and Tour Estate models are instantly more engaging things to look at than their predecessors. Diamond-shaped headlamps smear dramatically back into the front wings, and the chrome-ringed grille sits above a large central air intake. Now, this model is 50mm longer than its predecessor and is wider by the same amount, also sitting on a lengthy wheelbase of 2,700mm. It all adds up to a generously proportioned cabin, ahead of either 509 or 549 litres of boot space, the higher figure of course attributable to this Tourer Estate model. Now, of course, in the Tourer you can also extend it by using the neat one-touch mechanism and flattening the split-folding rear seats. And if you do that, you've got a possible total of 1,609 litres of fresh air. You've also got this useful underfloor compartment which is wiped clean for things like muddy boots and so on. Take a seat inside, and although it's not the most eye-catching cabin in the class, I'll wager that it'll be one of the most durable. In 3 years' time, when the interiors of rival cars are beginning to look maybe a little tatty, this one should still seem showroom fresh. Prices, which lie in the usual £16,000 to £25,000 bracket common to this class of car, are of course comparable to direct rivals like Ford's Mondeo, Vauxhall's Insignia and Renault's Laguna. And there's a premium of around £1,000 if you want this Tourer estate version. And under the bonnet, well, Toyota has really flexed its muscles here, wheeling out its latest engine technology to power this Avensis. The petrol units are of the advanced valve-matic type, using advanced combustion technology to improve efficiency and gain more power. There's a 1.8 litre V-matic with 145 brake horsepower and a 2 litre version with 150 brake horsepower that in saloon form can get you to 60 from rest in 9 seconds. If you go for the diesels, as I've done here, you've got the latest generation of Toyota's D4D power plants. Now that gives you a choice of 3. You've got an entry-level 2 litre D4D with 130 brake horsepower, or this 2.2 litre D4D with 150 brake horsepower. You can also order this engine with 180 brake horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque. Now those wanting an automatic gearbox can go for a CVTS Multitronic gearbox with petrol models, and that comes with clever wheel-mounted paddle shifters. Those who go for an auto with a diesel get a more conventional 6-speed automatic setup. Equipment levels across the range run to air conditioning, a 6-speaker audio system with MP3 compatibility. You've got electric windows, 7 airbags, electrically heated and adjustable mirrors, body-coloured bumpers. You've even got a multi-function information display. Go for the Tourer Estate and you've got the option of this huge panoramic glass sunroof. Now, optimal braking is taken care of by ABS with EBD, electronic brake force distribution, and brake assist, which helps you in emergency stops. You've also got the VSC Plus stability control system, which selectively adds steering input and braking to pull the car out of a slide. Plus there's the option of the AFS adaptive front lighting system, which gives you increased visibility at night. This model was one of the first Toyotas to benefit from the company's optimal drive technology. This fuel-saving package of features using low-friction, lightweight components allied with high engine technology to cut CO2 emissions and boost power. Now that's important because running costs are where most battles are won and lost in the medium-range marketplace. And Toyota has been hard at work in reducing the cost of running an Avensis, and the results make impressive reading. Take the entry-level petrol variant, the 1.8 V-matic. That gives you 41 miles to the gallon on the combined cycle and returns 163 grams per kilometre of CO2. Reasonable enough, but it's trumped comprehensively by the tax-friendly 2-litre diesel. That gives you 55 miles to the gallon on the combined cycle and returns just 134 grams per kilometre of CO2. That means the large Toyota slots into VED tax band C and attracts an 18% benefit in kind rate for company car users. Now that compares extraordinarily well with rivals, the Vauxhall Insignia, for example, the comparable version of which is one band higher in terms of tax and attracts a 20% benefit in kind rating. Residual values after the usual 3 years and 36,000 miles indicate that this Toyota will be worth more at that point than rivals from Peugeot, Vauxhall or Ford, retaining about 35% of its value. Now compare that to a Ford Mondeo that retains about 29% of its value. Insurance groups, well, they range between 6 and 12. Put enough resource, money and worldwide expertise behind any product and you're going to get an impressive result. Just how impressive is in this case evidenced by the fact that this third generation Toyota Avensis manages to lead its class in the apparently contrary areas of both high performance and low running costs. Could it be more exciting, both to look at and to drive? Well, probably, but you can see why Toyota was keen not to go too far and upset the legions of customers attracted by the sensible charms of previous Avensis models. Now, this brand knows that the medium-range marketplace is densely populated and highly competitive, with buying decisions often coming down to the smallest detail. Worryingly for its rivals, this car seems to have got the details just about right.